Recreation Commission meeting to order Tuesday, June 18th, 2024 at 5:32 p.m. Would everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And this meeting is being recorded. We do have the minutes real quick from April 25th, 2024 in front of you.
Make a motion to accept the minutes.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted. New business. The town administrator, Mr. Jonathan Ruda, discussed status of fund zone playground at 71 West Main Street. Mr. Ruda?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I wanted to just give a brief overview as where we stand with the status of the fund zone. So we're going to get an overview as to what the conceptual design is and everything that we've done to date. My hope is that now that we're on the eve of submitting the grant application, I believe the deadline is July 5th, we can turn the management of the grant and the build out of the fund zone and everything else that goes along with it over to the Recreation Commission. I think it's better suited in this body than it is out of my office in the planner's office. So if it's okay with you, we can start with Greer to give the Recreation Commission an overview, Greer Jarvis, and then we'll go to the designer, who is Michael Radner, and he'll give us a more in-depth look at it. Okay?
Yes.
Great, thank you. So hello again, everyone. My name is Greer Jarvis. I'm an assistant resiliency planner at the Central Mass Regional Planning Commission, and for the past few weeks I've been assisting the town getting ready to apply for the Parkland Acquisition and Renovation for Communities program, which is through the Division of Conservation Services at the EEA. So I'll just go through and give you all a brief background of the grant opportunity and kind of the progress we've made, and then give you all an overview of kind of expectations if awarded. So yeah, since you all finalized the Open Space and Recreation Plan, you're eligible for this grant program, which is great. It's worth noting that it's a reimbursement grant program, so we are working to draft a warrant for the fall town meeting, a warrant article, and the town will be, appropriating the borrowing of funds in full amount, and with the expectation that you will be reimbursed up to 70%, which would be $500,000. So we are working with that budget in mind, and Michael has been working with that budget in mind. So as noted, we're focusing on the Town Commons Park or Fund Zone, which this was recognized in the Open Space and Recreation Plan as a priority for improvement, so that's great. We can note that in the application itself that it was already recognized as a priority. And of course, Michael will get into the details of what this project will actually involve, but it's really exciting stuff involving both active and passive recreation opportunities, as well as ADA accommodations. So the application itself will be due July 11th, but I like the idea of getting it in by the 5th. So definitely hoping to submit that early. In general, the application is mostly composed of a 2-page narrative, which I'm working on drafting, just using conversations I've had with the town, as well as Michael Radner. And this narrative will include information about all the amenities that are included in this project, as well as noting any accessibility accommodations, how this project would consider environmental resiliency. So this will involve planting trees, this will involve a pathway through the wooded area, how this will involve educational opportunities with the signage, and much more. So we're working on drafting that narrative, and then once it's kind of in full draft mode, we'll be coordinating more with the town planner and the folks that I've been working with. So in terms of responsibilities for if awarded, so it sounds like the idea is that once we get good news that the grant management side of things will go to the Recreation Commission. So if that's the case, I would definitely encourage reading through the RFP from DCS. And I went ahead and before this meeting and went through the RFP kind of through thinking with the cap of, if awarded, what the Recreation Commission should look out for. So I highlighted some things there, and I'm happy to get the best person's email from there that I can share that with you all. But in general, upon the award, the state will contact you all, one, to set up a site visit. So they go to every site that they're considering awarding funding to check it out, make sure everything lines up with the application. And then they also send a package of materials that you'll need to, review and fill out and sign and send back. So that would include the state standard contract form and billing forms, and the project agreement form as well. It's also important to keep in mind that quarterly reports would be involved in the management of this grant. So I will definitely share that with you all so you can review it more closely. But if I can just rewind for a second and go back for the application itself, we would also need a copy of the municipal vote accepting the Recreation Commission, as well as all of your municipal appointees. And then we would also definitely welcome a letter of support to include in the application, which are due as late as a week after the application itself is due. And then there are a couple matters that, we could confirm now if possible, but in the application itself, we'll need to spell out which entities the town will be collaborating with for any fiscal or future maintenance matters. So it sounds to me like this would all be between the town and the Recreation Commission and potentially the Water and Sewer Office because of the involvement of the splash pad. So just confirming that those are the two entities the town is collaborating with for the application. And also just important to note that, if the town is awarded the fund, the draft warrant article will be included in the fall town meeting. And not only will that include language about the reimbursement funding, but also that this property will be dedicated to recreational purposes under Article 97 of the Massachusetts Constitution and MGL Chapter 45. And then that, throughout or in perpetuity, I suppose, that this project will be open to the general public, to people from any municipality. And that is particularly important because this project is eligible for up to $500,000 because of the ample parking that is situated nearby and because it's along the WRTA transit route. So they consider this a regional or statewide project. So more people do have the opportunity to visit this site. And then, of course, if awarded and all the agreements are signed, any major changes to this project site down the line would have to get approval from the EEA. So I will pause there because that was a lot of information about, the grant opportunity or application so far, and a couple needs from you all, as well as kind of expectations afterwards. So is there anything I can go into more detail or any questions you have?
Anybody have any questions?
No.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, Greer, are you able to send us a checklist as to what we need to get together in terms of, you know, you mentioned a copy of the vote that established the Recreation Commission and the appointees and the stakeholders, the water sewer commissioners, and, you know, the highway's gonna be a stakeholder for maintenance and that sort of thing. Are you gonna be able to send that to us, and when do you need that by?
Yeah, absolutely. I can send that in a checklist form. I can send that with the RFP I was talking about with the highlighted sections. But for the physical, attachments that I need from you all, it is just the copy of the municipal vote accepting the commission as well as the municipal appointees. Just those two items are required. And then of course, if you all want me to send you a letter of support template, I can do that. I can work with the planning department on that. But then in terms of other questions I have related to, which entities you all will need to collaborate with, I can put that all in the same checklist.
Could you
and just kind of.
Perfect. Could you possibly include on your email, because I know that you've been usually emailing Bill and me, can you include town admin too, one word? Town
Yes.
admin too at dudleyma.gov. She can
And
always
that's
get
Michelle,
everything together.
right?
Yes.
Yes, so
For
she
now.
is going to be the lead contact on this application. So
So,
I expect, if you are awarded that, Michelle is the person DCS will reach out to.
well, Michelle is retiring effective July 1st. And she will be
Okay.
gone, and her last week is like the 24th of June. So Olivia
Okay.
is here in the room with us, and she will be town admin too, when Michelle
Okay.
retires, so we're not losing anything in terms of a contact.
Should I change the main contact person over to Olivia? Would that be best? This would just be for any communications between DCS and the town.
Yes, I believe it would. Bill?
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Yeah.
Okay, yes, please.
And maybe still, even with her as the main contact, still copy Planner One on everything?
Yep. I'll contact both, or copy Olivia and Planner One with Bill. Thank
Yes,
you.
Bill?
These applications, it's always good if you can submit letters of support from as many interested groups as you can. So I was wondering who you think would be willing to send in a letter of support for this application, and how would we go about contacting these people to get those letters?
Great
Yeah,
question.
absolutely.
Anybody have
So
any thoughts?
I would think
Sure.
it's many groups in town, whether it's a historical group, whether it's the ladies groups, whether Board of Health. I mean, this is going to actually benefit everybody.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that there shouldn't be one group that wouldn't send a letter in.
Mm-hmm.
So I get a list of that from the TA's office.
And Greer, Mr. Chairman, did you say that you had a template already put together that we could ask for them to sign, vote and sign?
yeah, I can definitely pull one together and send that to Bill, and then I can help in any way contacting either organizations in the town or boards, committees, or any legislators that you all have contacts with.
What about the
So-
schools? Schools?
Yeah, I think the more letters of support, the better.
School district, would that help?
Yeah.
There are a lot
We
of-
don't need 10 letters of support, but I don't think that would be a bad thing to have.
How about if we target our legislators, which we can do in-house, and we can definitely get one from, the superintendent of schools, or maybe the school committee. I don't think that would be a heavy lift, right? Board of Health shouldn't be a big deal, right? Board of Selectmen?
Right.
Yeah.
Do we know anybody?
No.
All right, so we could, So does that sound like enough or too,
4, I
It'd be
think.
nice if we could get some other citizen groups too.
women's
Reach
club?
out to like the moms groups.
Yeah,
The
that kind of
PTO, the moms group, the PTO.
ECEF,
Boys and
whatever
Girls.
it is.
The Boys and Girls Club,
Oh, Boys and Girls Club.
the Women's Club
good.
I'd reach out to since they they did
Right.
fundraising.
See, here's the beauty of you saying you would like
I'm saying
hypothetically
us.
do that.
Us,
Yes,
yeah,
yes, yes.
us. I'm just saying you would, in general. I'm not meaning you personally.
You
Kinda
can
right
give us
a
a
little
list of
bit.
names.
Yep,
We
absolutely,
could reach out to.
absolutely.
I think, that shows, it's nice to get legislators, but if you get real people that are,
Get what? I'm sorry, what was it? What was the,
get real people, submit,
oh, real, yeah, PTO,
Stakeholders.
ECEF, yeah.
Yeah.
Boys and Girls Club. Those, you should be able to get those without a problem.
I'll send you over some.
okay, that'd be great, Jen, thanks. Jen, excuse me, Greer, are you going to send this application in yourself, or do you need somebody here in the town to actually submit it?
So I am happy to submit it myself. I just will need the authorization of the main contact. So if that's going over to Olivia, I can send the template for that over to you. And then as well as the authorization of the chief executive officer to execute contracts. So those are kind of the two signatories that I'll need on the application, but I'm happy to submit this myself. It's all online this year. So, I'll present you, Bill, and whoever else with the materials that I will be submitting, well in advance. And then hopefully we can get it in ahead of time.
Good. I'm okay with having Greer submit it if that's,
Yeah, it works for me, perfect.
Great. So yeah, I'll work on a letter of support template tomorrow and send that to you all, along with the copy of the RFP for you all to review, just the grant management matters. Is there an email for the Recreation Commission that I should target, or just the general one that's online?
We have recreation. Yeah, we have an email now.
We have what?
Recreation@dudleyma.gov.
recreation@dudleyma.gov, and we'll make sure that everyone gets it.
Perfect. Thank you so much. And are there any other questions, or if there are any other questions, you can all feel free to reach out to me via email.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Let's do it. Anybody have any questions? Oh, good. I think we're good to go. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you all.
You're welcome.
thank you. Thanks, Greer.
And I'm happy to stick around for the next 10 minutes just to soak up Michael's presentation for the application, but I'll be leaving right at
Great.
2 minutes of. So thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, before Michael does his presentation, just to give everybody an up-to-date background as to what we've done. I'm sure everybody has seen in the lobby for a few months last year, we had different renderings that people could vote on. Based on that vote, we designed Michael designed a plan that was as close as to what was voted on as we could get, and then we brought it to a public meeting where parents showed up, residents showed up, and their kids showed up, and the kids actually had the opportunity. This place was packed. They had the opportunity to come up and speak about what they'd like to see as part of it built into the playground as well. So now we're at a point where we're putting in the grant. We've been talking about the grant for a long time. We've used the Women's Club donations that they've raised and private donations that we've gotten. And I believe that we had around 40 grand in the account. It's probably not gonna be exactly 40 grand, so I'm just ballparking it. I'm gonna give you the accounting as to how that money's been spent to date. I'm gonna turn that over to the Recreation Commission, but it has been essentially spent on renderings and Michael's work and anything that was needed to get us up to date to the point of being able to apply for this grant, including the open space plan. We didn't have an open space plan that had been developed yet, and And Bill was instrumental in helping us get that together and put us in a position where we would become eligible for these sort of grants. So, Greer mentioned there's a matching fund. She mentioned a matching amount that will have to come from the town. She mentioned that it's a reimbursement program. So the thought is that the money will be borrowed. It won't go to a debt exclusion, I don't think. It will be borrowed. And we'll use the reimbursement amount to pay that off. And we'll decide, the Recreation Commission can talk about ways to pay off the $30,000, which will be $150,000, $200,000 ballpark. We could probably, if we borrow the money for long enough, we could probably budget that amount to pay off rather than to. So that'll be a public outreach event. We'll have to make sure that people at the town meeting vote to approve it and understand it's a reimbursement program and how we plan to pay for the matching funding amount. So I guess I brought us up to date as much as we possibly can. And Mr. Chairman?
Yes, that was great. Thank you for bringing us up to speed. I believe now we're going to have Mike get into the details. Is that it?
Yes.
Okay. Looking forward to it, Mike. What do you have?
Good evening, everybody. If I'm not able to share yet, I guess Amanda has to allow me to. Okay, I am the host now. Excellent. Nice to be here, everybody, and let me get my. Sorry. The screen going here. There we go. Okay. Can we see that?
Yes.
Fabulous. Mike Radner with Radner Design Associates. We've been working, as John started to talk about, with the town for I think about 18 months now or longer on developing these plans, and now we're really drilling down into the design of the playground in order to meet the requirements of the grant application. So I'm going to go through a few slides here. I think that you know your own site. Town Hall is on the lower left, and the existing fun zone, and I love the name fun zone. It just sounds, I don't know, it's kind of very charming to me. But there's the existing fun zone, and here's our new site for the playground, which is going up the hill and in this paved storage lot that the DPW and other various departments have been using for storage. So that's the proposed play area, and there's just one view of that. Again, I think you know your own site, so let's get to the plan. So the town hall is in the lower left here. Our primarily parking, and I'm going to apologize right now. I have a contractor in the house. My dog is very anxious, so she's a little bit yippy. Okay. So our this is existing paving here, so the existing parking lot, which needs to be reconfigured a little bit to have handicap access into the park. And here's a gateway into this park. And what we've done is take the space that's available to us and kind of do two separate areas. The lower area is, I would call, active play, which has your sort of a catalog play items that are swings and climbers and things like that that will be installed, including the splash pad. And then the upper area, which is currently a wooded area, and think of this as kind of like a nature trail. So this area is going to be fenced off in order to control the little kids in this area. It's great for a parent to be able to have supervision and surveillance over this area without having to worry about a child running outside of the fence line. And then there would be gates here so that this area would be accessible to maybe some older kids or accompanied younger kids that could go into the woods and just think of this as kind of getting a little bit dirty in the wooded area. So that's what we're calling the natural play area. But I really want to focus on this active play area here. And the way that we've organized the space, there's a paved path that will go around the outside of the space. You can think of this as a walkway or even a trike path that the little kids can ride on. We do have some benches sort of distributed around this area that are facing in so that people can look in onto the space. There is a little picnic area here, a little bit hard to see under the tree, but some picnic tables in there. And then we have some landscape areas around the edges that will provide shade and relief from the sun and so forth. And then inside this area, what we have are 3 different spaces. This orangey space here is going to be surfaced with poured-in-place rubberized surface, similar to what you have down below right here. This area here, which is kind of brown, is a wood fiber surface, which is a specialized resilient surface that is also handicap accessible. So all of the spaces in here are handicap accessible. It's just a different treatment of these 2 spaces. This poured-in-place rubberized surface is actually a fairly expensive notion. So what we're trying to do, at least for the grant application, is to have a little bit of both materials so that we can, you know, as we get into the bid phase in this and once we get our grant, we can continue to adjust these. But I wanted to have the 2 different surfaces. They serve the same purpose, they're just a vastly different price point. So that's why we're showing both of those. And then the splash pad is in this area right here. So that is the basic plan. I do have some images of the types of play items that we're proposing. And as you can see, whereas right now you have like the one big play structure with all the events kind of going around it, this is a multiple play structures that you would go from event to event, and we call this circular play. It allows more freedom and more choice for the children to go in through the space and sort of pop around to the different places, as opposed to the big one where you kind of are circling around one space. So this is a little more wide open, allows for different groups going to different play areas, and just a lot more flexible in the way that we do this. So, excuse me. I've put some pictures of the different types of play events. This is called the crab trap. This is kind of the main event inside the playground. It's a climbing structure that you can see has some height to it, but you know, little kids can also play in the ground in this as well. There's what we are seeing in children these days in child development is really a lack of development of upper body strength. So I really like to focus on play events that help provide a little bit of danger is a good thing, and allows children to develop that upper body strength a little bit more. So the picture on the left, you can see the rubberized surface. That's a good example of that. And the picture on the right is the wood fiber surface as well. So I like this piece of equipment. It's got a lot of different play events associated with it in a relatively compact area. And I just like how wide open it is. I like the netting. I think it's really interesting. It's visually, I think it's pretty striking as well, and not a typical play structure. But we're seeing more and more of these as time goes by. We do have swings. I think it's not really a playground unless you have swings. And what we're proposing right now is a 4-seat swing, similar to what you see down here. These pictures don't depict the configuration that we're going to have. We are going to have, I'll call it 2 older kid swings, and then there's going to be a handicap accessible swing and also a baby swing on this, so we can capture all of the different ages using this. There's a whole bunch of choices on spinning wheels. We used to call them different names when we were kids, which I won't, more graphic, can be more graphic. but we'll call them spinners here, and there's different ways to do this, and we were looking at, sitting spinning or standing spinning, and this is the one that we landed on. I think this is a really neat piece right here. It's actually shaped like a globe, and it's like a frame, and it actually spins around, but it's also a climbing type structure, so that you can climb up onto this middle level here and on these ropes as well, and I think it fits with our crab trap that you saw earlier. This is a not your father's seesaw. Is a four-seater and also allows kids to climb up on the middle, sing and rock back and forth. So I like this as well. It's just a little bit more interesting way to approach a seesaw. They call it the wee saw for some reason. And then there's spring toys, and we have a few of these for the toddlers, really younger kids. Really interesting way to get the younger kids involved and active as well. And then we have this elevated sand table. It's a really good for anyone who might be in a wheelchair or handicapped, that is raised above the ground. And this is actually kind of put on the periphery of the play area, so it doesn't take a lot of space. These kinds of things are relatively low cost, so we like to include them as well. And then the last item is the embankment slide. You saw this on the plan a little bit, where it's sort of creating this mound, and you can climb up. There's a couple of different ways to climb up on the boulders, but you can also climb up on the rubberized surface, and it's a wide slide to allow multiple children to go down as well. And then the splash pad. This is a rendering. We're working with a company called Vortex out of Canada, really one of the original suppliers of this type of play equipment, call it. We are looking to have, I think that there's 7 or 8 water features that would come out of the ground. It's basically just on a flat paved surface. There's, you can't see it here, but there's a little post that comes in as an activator, so that this spray is not on all the time. It's activated by the child, so that if there's nobody there, it just goes off. And there's a little computer chip. Of course, everything can be programmed, and we can program it with the software to do different types of dancing fountains and things like that. What I'm waiting on right now is the information from Vortex on what the water consumption is going to be on that. The Water and Sewer Commission had some questions on that, so I'm waiting on that as well. We really feel like this is an important element in the playground, especially in the summer and the hot months. I feel like there really does need to be water, and there will be a water fountain as well. These facilities can be a little bit pricey. I mean, the plumbing is simple. Actually, it's kind of like the pumps and the electronics that cost a little bit more. If we find that the budget won't support the actual splash pad, there is another alternative, which is a little bit less expensive, which are these misters. You see these a lot in restaurants. Now with outdoor dining, there's a lot more misters. They take up, they're much lower draw of water volume, so it costs less to do water. These are a little bit less costly than the splash pads, and whereas the splash pad actually needs to go to the sanitary sewer, so we need to drain, this doesn't need a drain, so it basically goes into the air, and it is a cooling misting effect, so that's kind of a lower cost alternative to that. We have done a spreadsheet which has a budget. This needs to be updated. It is not the final budget yet. I'm still waiting for some pricing from the vendor on this. But as we look at the bottom line here, and if you can't read that, it's basically says $615,000. We're working with a $700,000 budget, so we had a little bit of room in the last presentation, so we've added a few more play events to this, and I think it's really important to pack as much the actual play equipment in as possible, and kind of maximize this number so that it maximizes our grant reimbursement. That's the goal here. So what we've been doing in the past month or so is kind of this back and forth with program and site plan and design to get it to work within the budget that we're going to then take to apply for the grant. So that's the end of the presentation. I'm just going to roll back to the plan and ask if anyone has questions about that.
Mike, I have a quick question. If you could just tell us the age group this is designed for in a safe manner.
So this is, I would say, 6 months to 12 years. So you can bring infants to this.
Wow. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Anybody else have questions, thoughts, concerns, ideas?
I have a question about the splash pad. I guess I was just curious if you can set timers on that so that it wouldn't cost as much money and only run it obviously during certain times of the year and
Right.
certain hours.
Yeah, these are, from what I understand, and I haven't gotten into the weeds of programming these things, but the programs are very flexible.
Okay.
So I'm also learning a little bit more about this as we get into the engineering of this. But from what I understand, yes, these are, you can basically program them however you need to.
Great. Anybody else? No? Mr. Ruda?
I'll just mention that this is actually a two-phase project. This doesn't include the green space that we talked about at one point, because we thought that the priority, from what we've heard from our feedback from the public and the parents, that the priority is to get the playground up and running. I will also note that, that we did manage to raise $35,000 to $40,000, but I'm not even sure that that covers one piece of compliant playground equipment at this point that we're talking about, or the cost of rubberized matting or rubberized mulch. It just, if we want to be ADA compliant and we don't want to be, and we want to keep our insurance, reasonable, we have to follow the standards, and that includes the code. We have to build the code, we have to be ADA compliant, we have to follow the standard. It can't just be a situation where we buy a playground set from Walmart and fire it up. It's just, that's not the way it works on a public space like this. And we're getting grant funding to do this the right way. This is not designed to last 3 years, it's designed to last significantly longer than that, so. Take a good look at the price breakdown. The things are not cheap to be compliant and to meet code, and to have something that's, worth, what the kids and the community deserves. We have to take that go that extra mile to get the right replacement for our playground.
Bill?
Michael, I have a question on the time frame. Assuming we get the grant and town meeting approves the borrowing article in October, how long would it take to, complete the design and go out to bid and then construct the project and wrap it up? Do you have a sense of how long that would take?
Well, I think we would want to look at the calendar together and see when you want to open. It's not, the bidding and the construction is certainly multiple months. The design is probably a 2 to 3 month process to pull the documents and the specifications together. The public bid process is, not a 2-week thing. And then the construction is, obviously has to happen during construction season so that the contractors can dig in the ground and so forth. So, with a grant award potentially happening in the fall, we're looking at a spring breaking ground in the spring of 2025. And then I think, an installation period is probably going to be 3 to 4 months. So, you know, I think there's a possibility that you could open the playground in the fall of 2025.
Barring nothing pops up.
I'm sure it'll go smoothly, Mr. Landry.
Right. That's good information,
Mr. Chairman, that just as an aside, you know, I'll be available when the commission needs me. Olivia will be available, so you'll have full-time support as we go through this procurement and that sort of thing. And I'm sure Bill will be on hand for some of it.
Good, thank you. That was great, Mike, thank you. Anybody else have any questions for Mike before we let him go?
So do we assume then that you support Michael's design? Is that something you think is what the people want in town? Is that the general consensus of?
Yes, based on
Okay,
what the children chose.
right, okay. So then
You
Michael,
know,
I-
I'll just say that we really, sorry, Bill, the public session that we had was, aside from being a hoot, we really did take into account what the kids were, and the parents seemed to favor in this. And it did help us kind of steer the direction of the design. So I think that we're responding very well to the consensus in the room that night.
That's what's important.
Yes. Mr. Root, anything else?
I'm fine, Mr. Chairman.
Everybody okay?
But I just want to maybe get it on the record that the commission supports moving forward this and kind of taking the lead on it, because I think it would be helpful with the application if we have established that.
Yes. Would you like a vote for that? Would that make it better?
Do you want me to make a motion?
Right?
Make a motion that the Recreation Commission supports the design and implementation of the grant process, and the Recreation Commission is willing to take over this process from here on out.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
I'll second that.
We have a second. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So voted.
Great.
Anything else from us? Then that was an outstanding job, Mike. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you. You have a great team in your town administration. I look forward to working with the commission on this as we go forward.
Same here.
Exciting project. Great stuff.
Thank you. Great work. You take care.
Thank you. And Bill, I sent you this slideshow so that you can feel free to distribute that to the commission.
okay, will do.
All right. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay, good night.
Okay, now, with that being said, that was great, a lot of information. Looks like we're getting what we want. Hopefully this goes in a positive, fluid motion forward.
Mr. Chairman, if you want,
Sir.
I could send that slideshow to Debbie LaPlaca and put it up on social media sites, and we could put it up on the website if you like.
That'd be great. Thank you. Thank you. So if nobody has anything on that, we can move forward to old business. Discuss townwide yard sale, an update on that?
Okay. Do you want me to- okay, so, Amanda we have 31 locations, 2 people setting up here at the town hall. And of the 31 locations, 2 are street, multiple on a street, but just the one address is listed, but there's multiple addresses. So Amanda put it into the yard sale treasure map, and I played with it. If you, on the front, and I printed off just some black and white ones, just so that, not to.
Right.
So there's the front of it, and it lists the first 2, then it flips over to the back
Thank you.
with the addresses.
Share.
So this was what is the best that we could come up with. And it's pretty good for the size, I just,
Oh, it looks good. It gives a great idea of where they are
Yep. And it has the QR code on there as well, on the back.
on the back. Yes,
Yep.
okay, thank you.
And I'll make sure that, okay, so the next thing is we're gonna be selling maps Saturday morning from like 7:30 till 9. I will be here, but I will need somebody else here with me because in case I have to, we're gonna start off with so many maps, but in case I need to run in and make more copies or something.
Okay.
And then the second thing is at our meeting, and it's in the minutes, I checked, we had said $2 a map, but it's been advertised all over Facebook and social media as $3 a map.
Won't they be happy when they find out it's 2?
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure we're still going with the $2,
Yes.
because that's what we had originally discussed, and I
And
just.
vote, right.
Perfect, okay, and that's what was voted on. So we'll be selling the maps here. I've asked if we can put on the sign out front for Saturday for it to say, yard sale maps on sale here, or something.
Okay.
I'm sure it's gonna sound better than that, but
Right.
something to that effect.
I can meet with you if you, on
That'd be great.
Saturday.
Thank you.
Yep.
What time?
7:30 till 9.
Fine.
If you wanna come,
Oh, no,
No.
no.
If you want-
I am not available. I just
Okay.
missed the meeting, so I guess I
Oh,
missed the
yeah.
date. Which is I want to be up in yard sale.
Yeah, sure.
So, homes that are participating have to, was it recommended that they put what they're selling, just so people are like, well, I don't have any kids, so I won't go here, or I don't,
Right.
okay.
Because a lot of people, when they get the maps,
Mhm.
and Olivia will concur, that you go through the list and you go, oh, no, they don't have anything, they don't have anything. And so you
Okay.
look through to see which ones
Which
you
you
want to
wanna
make
go
your
to.
priorities.
Okay,
So it's helpful to know.
that makes sense.
Mhm.
do we have to help the 2 people that are coming to the town hall set up or anything?
They should be self-sufficient. I just don't know, where it's only 2 people, I guess I was thinking that, you know, how you pull in and then you can loop around right through the back.
Yeah.
If they set up back there, like, you know what I mean, towards there, that would be okay where there's only 2 of them coming,
Okay.
rather than making them go, the 2 of them go up there. At least that might be a little shadier and, I don't know.
Right.
Might be worth it just to, I'm sure you've already talked to the police chief at some point, right?
I believe so, but I'll double check with them.
Mention it to him?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. Mr. Chairman, I do want to point out that Bill's work on that, and getting the park design to the point where the Recreation Commission can take over has been indispensable. We never would have gotten to this point without him.
I agree, thank you, Bill.
And
I do.
having Amanda get that map together, because I know we struggled with getting a map that looked right, and Amanda Gage was able to do that for us.
Did a great job.
Get it all published and up, so the behind-the-scenes support sometimes gets overlooked, but I want to make sure it's recognized.
I'm glad you did that, thank you. They are a great job. Takes a group effort to make this happen. I really appreciate it, as everybody does.
My only other question is who's gonna make the call if there's rain and if we decide to cancel?
Were there any provisions for canceling?
Yeah, it was the next day. Rain date was the Sunday.
And that was posted with the advertisement?
Yes.
So if it rains, we have to call people, let them know it
So,
rains?
no, basically, usually they'll make the call the day before. If it's forecast for like 90% chance of rain,
Right.
they'll put it out on, everywhere that you originally put it out, they'll put it back out.
Okay,
So I would think where you're here Friday till noontime, the call would be made, because by Friday before noontime, because I believe she must have emails for the majority of the people who registered, Michelle, right? Do you know?
I think with anybody that came in person, she only has their addresses.
Oh, okay, so
Anybody
no.
who registered over email, obviously she has their email.
But still, everybody knew that if it rained, there was a rain day, so, but that's just something, hopefully we looked, it didn't look bad today,
It's looking good.
so.
Knock on wood.
We'll keep it going, so,
Okay.
just an FYI.
okay. All right, so they gotta be on the lookout, and we'll make sure it's posted before noontime Friday,
Yeah.
everywhere it should be.
Right,
Okay,
that's what I would say.
that'd be great. Anything else?
No, I'm impressed with the signups. I mean, I'm really 31 for the first year, and with there being a little hiccups along the way, I think it's great.
Beautiful.
31 is good.
Everybody did a good job, too. Thank you. Thank you very much. Anybody have anything miscellaneous? Do I have a motion for adjournment?
Make a motion to adjourn?
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
I second
Do we
that.
have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, so voted. Thank you, everybody, for coming.